Lost on Lost Season 2, baby!
Hell yeah!
We've watched Seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Lost, and we've learned a lot.
Did we?
And we've learned to love Jack, Kate, Sawyer, Boone, and Claire.
Did we?
But now it's time for Seasons 4, 5, and 6.
That's right, we're still going to talk about the mysteries and mythologies of the island.
And obviously hot tropical hookups.
But now we're going to talk about things like the freighter,
The Others,
Charles Widmore,
The Lighthouse,
time travel,
9/11,
Ronald Reagan,
the Catholic Church,
Titus,
Gold Chains,
the military-industrial complex,
the Prison Industrial Complex,
the Void,
the Orb,
and so much more.
So strap on and strap down, because if you thought last season was confusing,
This is going to be so much worse. Or better if you like being lost on Lost. Strap on?
you heard me. Welcome everybody to Lost on Lost. My name is Adam Busher, and I am joined as always by my faithful co-host, my digital to analog refugee, my third thing, JP Russell.
Oh, that's me?
I guess.
Oh, okay. No, I got a VR headset on my balls right now. I'm so locked into the net.
What are they seeing?
You know,
Nothing, because your balls don't have eyes.
a gentleman's 6 inches, or as I call it, 2 inches.
That sounds like a horror film. The balls have eyes. We have a guest today.
Have you, this is probably not going to play. Have you seen that? It's like a clip and it's like eating gluten from the dark web, and he's got like a GoPro on his face and like a GoPro in each hand. And it's just like a 3-screen thing where he's holding sandwiches and he's just taking bite. My name is Jake Jacobson.
Welcome back to the pod, Jake Jacobson.
And this will tie into Balls Cam later in the show. And if you comment at the timestamp where we reference Ball Cam later, you will win a prize.
Yep.
So
and don't forget
keep that
to,
one in mind.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you hit the like and or subscribe button with your balls, an added subscription will be added to your account.
Yeah, just as a reminder, if you are a $10 patron at patreon.com/lostonlost, you do get access to JP's Balls Cam.
Also, if you're the $1 $10 Patreon subscriber, your name is also Nick Brandel. So,
Jake, welcome back to the show. So good to have you. Jake Jacobson, a.k.a. Lake Jacobson, even though it's not the summer anymore.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I had to retire this is actually something I did do. I had to fold all of my nice button-up short-sleeve shirts and put them in a box because I don't have enough closet space for everything I own anymore. So,
Unbelievable.
yeah, I've imprisoned Lake Jacobson, and I will set him free when the temperature reaches 60 degrees again.
Sounds good.
Looking forward to his return.
Exactly.
They all do, you know.
What have you been watching? What have you been consuming? What have you been doing since the last time you were on there, Jake?
When was the last time I was on here, Jake?
Ooh.
It was a while ago. Whatever the case may be, Case Watch 2022.
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah,
Wow.
going all the way back to
Holy
episode
smokes.
44.
What have I watched since 2022? I just started Northern Exposure yesterday. I watched 3 episodes of this is real. Again, none of this is, I've never done a bit on a podcast at all.
No.
First 3 episodes of Northern Exposure.
A show that came out in 1990, yeah.
Oh yeah. My mom used to watch it a lot when I was growing up, but like the only thing I remember is that the theme song is like burned into my brain.
Yeah, incredibly catchy.
But like that show's pretty like this show's funnier than I expected it to be. Like
Yeah,
I'm having a
fucking-
good time with it so far. So
Yeah, Dr. Fleischman is a riot. His receptionist, Marilyn,
it's fantastic.
she's
yeah.
a great indigenous actress who the name isn't on the tip of my tongue, but she was also in Smoke Signals. She's been in a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
She's great.
Okay.
Janine Turner, she was in my formative years, I was like, I think I'm into kind of like, I think I'm into that.
Pilots. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Janine Turner is strictly the reason why when Cliffhanger came out, I was like, Mom, Dad, we got to rent Cliffhanger.
We have you, Mom, Dad. You wouldn't understand.
You don't necessarily get it. And they're like, that Sylvester Stallone movie. And I was like, who?
Excuse me, that John Lithgow movie.
Yeah, the bad guy's John Lithgow. Fucking Michael Rooker's in that movie too.
Yeah.
Northern Exposure is very funny. It's one of my dad's favorite shows. Last Christmas, I got him the box set,
Hell
and my
yeah.
sister also got him the box set. We both got him the box set of Northern
That's
Exposure.
awesome.
Very silly. Lack of communication between me and my sister.
Yeah, but you're both fucking on the pulse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Cool. Northern Exposure. Yeah, Northern Exposure. Yeah, that went like 7 seasons. And
I think so, yeah.
And sadly, Fleischman, he left the show at the end of season 6. Or he kind of pulled like a Mulder and started to like wean his appearances off of the show.
Oh, okay.
As the end approached, and they replaced him with somebody else, and whoever they replaced him with just didn't have that Fleischman energy. And
that's really surprising, given what I understand the premise of the show. I guess you only need to do 4 years with him.
That's true. He's only got to put in his 4. And then he stayed for another 2.5, I guess.
Hey, it's beautiful place.
Fuck it, let's do a Northern Exposure podcast.
Yeah, dude.
But I'm gonna do every episode with Fleischman energy, where I drink a handle of Fleischmann's and end up in Winnebago County lockup.
Exposure. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Exposure on Exposure. I'm your host, Jake Jacobson. I'm joined, of course, by my co-hosts, Adam and JP.
And it is Exposure on Exposure because we all have cameras on our balls.
And if you're subscribed to the $10 tier on our Patreon, patreon.com.
What is happening?
Exposure on Exposure.
Do you guys want to talk about Lost?
No, I don't. We should just keep riffing. Fuck this episode. This is going to be the first we're going to mutiny.
The very first filler episode of Lost on Lost. Like, this is the very first bottle episode of Lost on Lost.
We did the Briscoe County sprint.
No!
Oh, man. But in all seriousness, today we're talking about Sundown. Sundown was the 6th episode of the 6th season of Lost, and the 109th episode overall. Our centric character is Saeed Jarrah. It originally aired on March 2nd, 2010. It was written by Paul Zabewski and Graham Rowland. Did I get that right? Zabewski?
That's what we're rolling with, I think.
Yeah. It was directed by Bobby Roth. Sundown takes place on the 7th day after the perfect landing of Ajira 316. Adam.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a recap?
Sort of. We're recording this on a work day, and I wrote a punchline to a recap, and the three of us have decided that we're going to recap the episode together. Sort of like one of those games that you play at like summer camp where you tell a story word by word, except we're going to go sentence by sentence.
Yeah.
So here we go. Sundown? More like fun down. On the island, Saeed Jarrah struggles to find a place to fit in with the new others at the temple.
But Dogan finds a place to fit his fist in Saeed's face as tensions rise between the temple goers and Saeed.
Meanwhile, in suburbia, Saeed reunites with his brother and his brother's wife and kids and is in love with his brother's wife. Question mark.
But in his defense, he did see her first.
Also, Claire is scaring the fuck out of me.
That's okay, though, because Claire is in a hole.
Adam, you want to wrap it up?
Man, that temple really could have did with the smoke detector. It's fun down here on Lost on Lost.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, give it up.
Guys, good work, fellas.
Oh, man. Something about the doors were locked. I don't know. Is that anything? I don't know. I have to say something right off the bat. Hey, you know how we're watching the show out of order and sometimes context and things get lost?
Sure, yeah.
I know that we were watching a season 6 episode. Up until about 5 minutes before the end, I thought all of the flash sideways were flash forwards in season 5. And then I had an out-of-body experience, and I don't know what the fuck I watched. So this is going to be rough. This is really rough because I refuse to then rewatch the episode. I'm like, no, we're going to have to do this sort of in real time. So I watched this. I know we're watching it wrong on purpose, and then I accidentally watched it wrong as well. So.
You watched it wrong some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad that you brought that up because the very first note I have is I have not even gotten into the episode yet, but one of the episode descriptions when I was Googling where to watch Lost used the term flash sideways, which I am excited to learn more about. Now, I will note, did not learn any more about that all. But it is an exciting concept theoretically.
On paper.
If that's
absolutely.
not what you're looking at, then, what else do you need? So
Yeah.
I'll tell you the exact moment I realized it was a flash sideways, and it is shockingly late in the episode.
Well, conveniently, the episode starts in flash sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saeed arrives at Nadia's home with some flowers. He gets out of a cab. He goes into this beautiful home. He goes up to the door. She comes to the door, and it's all kind of like, oh, I'm so glad to see you. And he's like, what's up? And they're like kind of making eyes at each other. And then, his brother, Omar, rolls up and he's like, hey, you can give flowers to my wife?
Yeah. So, again, right up until very close to the end, I didn't realize that they were actually brothers. I thought he meant it in the sense of like you guys are my brothers. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, like not like blood related, like just like, like a close
so,
friend.
I was a little confused by that, but apparently they are biological brothers.
Yeah.
that makes me feel better because I'm assuming we learned that at the same point in the episode then, because I was also like, who is this guy? Like, I don't understand.
I was also not 100% convinced that they were blood brothers. I thought he was just referring to him as my brother, like just a close friend, because I didn't remember a brother at all.
No.
In any of his stuff in the past. So yeah, whatever. So like he's just like, hey, I'm glad to see you, brother. And they're like, welcome back. And
It's so good to be home from Australia.
yeah.
Australia.
And yeah, there's obviously some sort of mixed connection thing happening between Nadia and Saeed, but like this is the flash sideways, so like things are different.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great opportunity to introduce my first gimmick for today's episode, which is that
please do.
Every time a character's name is said on screen, I pause the show and wrote the character's name in bold and then tried to remember who the character was.
Oh.
So we start with Saeed, of course, who's the first character that's named.
Could never forget him.
So I have Saeed. And then I have, was this a gentleman whose backpack the white folks called on the airport police on? And I don't know if that's true. Is that true?
It is. Yes. In the proper timeline, Shannon did snitch on Saeed leaving a backpack behind. That is
All
correct.
right. I'm 1 for 1.
Nice.
But then he says he's from Australia, so then I wrote Saeed. Was he one of the bank robbers? ? But that I don't remember.
He was not one of the bank robbers.
Okay.
No.
Well, I feel 1 for. Well, it's like I'll give it a 0.5.
Sure.
Out of 1.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
I got it right the first time, and then I changed my answer to make it wrong, which I think is kind of like a fun way to do it.
All right, so Omar, they're sitting around having dinner and tea and yada yada, and Omar gets a call, and you can tell that Nadia's a little upset. She's like, "Hey, no
shit! Yeah, that's right. A bunch of other stuff happened in here in this scene. I was out of notes.
Oh yeah." She's like, "Hey, what did we talk about? No phones at the dinner table." And he's like, well, "But it's the boys are on."
The boys are on, yeah.
And meanwhile, the kids ran away, are like, where's our souvenirs from Australia? And Said's like, they're in my bag. And they're like, oh, yeah, we found a Tamagotchi and a picture of Mom. That's weird.
Like Omar is like dramatically off screen, like twirling his phone in his hand, like angrily, I guess. I did think it was fun because they're catching up, and he's like, there's nothing interesting that ever happens in the dry cleaning business. And then the next thing that happens is something from the dry cleaning business needs his undivided attention during dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As far as the picture thing, in Saeed's defense, I have a picture of my sister-in-law in my wallet. That said, she's in the picture with my sister. It's a picture of the two of them.
Okay. Adam, you got to be so careful.
Yeah, the picture of Nadia looks like it was taken from the bushes without her consent.
With a telephoto lens, yeah.
Well, I thought it was folded because the brother was folded out of the photo. Because it's like a folded photo.
What is that?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. What is
for some reason? Yeah,
it's like a 2x6. Like, what is this?
Yeah, it looks like a money, like wrapped money, like the way it's like tubed up. I don't.
Interesting. Yeah.
So like I don't know, but
maybe he rolled it up to do coke. I don't know.
the big. Yeah, I think that might be it, JP.
Yeah.
I think we might be on to something.
We got it, yeah. We cut to the island. Saeed barges into Dogan's office and confronts him about the test.
I got some questions. Let's start with the machine. Where'd you get the Entorturator 9000? I can't even get one of these, and I'm a preferred customer.
I'd like to share my notes on this scene if that's okay. Yeah. Oh, well, so my note starts with I have to ask when Lost became all my children here. I follow up with there's no time to think about it because a hotter Saeed arrives at the temple from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yep.
The inside of the temple has a surprisingly modern design.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A man I have not met yet is explaining how Anubis judged whether people are allowed in the land of the dead. Anubis apparently tried to poison Saeed because his heart weighed more than the feather. So, like, this character is never named for me. So, in my notes, he is Anubis for the rest of the episode.
Yep, that's fair.
So, if I reference Anubis, this is why.
Yeah,
his name is Dogecoin,
yeah. Played by Hiroyuki Sanada, most recently of Shogun fame. I'm almost halfway through Shogun, and that show continues to be.
Yeah, okay.
Also, he's incorrect in this scene. He says that within every man there's a scale. One side there's good, and one side there's bad. It's actually more of a triangle, and I'm going to quote my lovely fiance Kai. There's only 3 types of people in this world: the sheep, the wolves, and people that shop at CarMax. So
Now, which part of the Interrogator 9000 do you think figures the CarMax part out? Do you think that's one of the built-in?
You need to spend some more time in the Interrogator 9000.
That's true.
It's
yeah,
pretty convenient though. Like if you're hooked up to it and it's zapping the shit out of you, you know, you got the electrodes on either your nipples or your balls or wherever
presumably.
And then it does spit out like a little tape, and it's just like, you know, good or evil, and then your credit score at the bottom of it.
Oh, it's like lie detector tech. Okay,
pretty smooth. Yeah.
Anyway, Dogan's like, oh, by the way, your scale tipped the wrong way,
and Saeed's like, that's not possible. I'm a good man. And then they have like a pretty sick fist fight.
Dude.
Yeah, it's like a pretty good scrap. Yeah. I was really impressed, actually.
I was pretty locked in because I was like, 1, it's a pretty decently choreographed fight, but 2, I don't know who's gonna win this.
Yeah, because Dogan starts it. Dogan's like, oh, you're a good man. Well, how about this karate chop, pow?
Like we're just having a conversation.
Yeah, I thought we were just chilling. Like, now I gotta beat your ass, or you're gonna beat my ass. Like, damn.
Goes all over the place. Saeed starts throwing the furniture at him. He's like, eat terrarium, nerd.
So that's what I was gonna say. Is like, there's a bit for like a couple seconds where Saeed is just knocking shelves down for like no reason, just to be annoying, which is like a pretty cool move, I think.
If I'm gonna lose this fight, I'm gonna at least destroy all of your cool things.
Now, Anubis is about to win the fight against Saeed, but then a baseball rolls off of his desk and hits the ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
And America's pastime saves the life of yet another man.
Yeah.
He's got like Dogan's got him at like is it a knife or a scalpel? He's got something to his throat, and he's gonna like it's gonna be done. So. But
I thought maybe it was poison. But I mean, it's just something very sharp.
Yeah, the dropping of the baseball just like freezes him, and he gets up off of Saeed and goes to pick up the ball, and he banishes him from the temple. He's like, you know what? Just get out.
Yeah.
You've knocked my baseball down. And that was the last straw.
It reminded me of Bill Ripken. And you know what? I just can't. Or who's the guy with the threw the ball and it exploded the bird?
That was Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson. Yeah,
big
Bill Ripken's
unit.
the
Yeah,
fuck
big
face on the
unit.
card. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've tracked outside of the temple. Flock and Claire are out in the jungle.
Dude, I love New Claire.
Yeah, pretty great.
I love new John Locke.
Ooh.
Also affectionately known as Flock to hear us on the pod and out in the wild.
Okay.
Yes, he's not
I will
real
keep
Locke.
this in mind. I've given him kind of a different nickname in the future as well.
Okay.
So I think yours is going to be better. But so I of course have done my gimmick again. They said the word John, and I've written John Locke. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and just share this one in the chat if it lets me.
Sure.
The following are my notes on John Locke. And if you're unfamiliar, these are the words to Donkey Kong's verse in the Donkey Kong rap. Because I remember John Locke being the leader of the bunch. And I feel like of all of the characters I have seen and will be shown, I know him well. Now, that is wrong, as it turns out. But like...
Coconut gun.
I
just cannot
fucking
wait.
wish John Locke had a coconut gun, though. God damn.
That's what's in the case from the case one.
Yeah.
Coconut gun.
It's all connected.
What is
Wake
it?
up.
Coconut gun can fire in spurts. If he shoots you, it's gonna hurt. He's bigger, faster, and stronger. 2, he's the first member of the John Locke crew. That's
Yes.
Is that
Amazing.
is that how
Yeah.
that UH is pronounced at the end there, Jake? Is that
Yeah, you actually got it. Yeah,
Excellent.
you nailed it.
All right.
simply amazing.
John Locke, the leader of the bunch. Flock can't go in the temple. I think that this is where they show the line of ash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And so, like, we've seen this before in other episodes, protecting themselves with ash from Flock or the smoke monster, the Man in Black, whatever.
But like, it'd just be like, hey Claire, can you unashify the ground right
Can
here
you
for me real
sweep this
quick?
out of my way? He's like, I need you to go in there and tell him what's up. And she's like, okay, fine, you got it. Are you gonna hurt? Wait, Crikey. Let me find my touchstone. Crikey, put another ship. Are you gonna hurt them?
Arr, nar.
Oh no. And he's like, only the ones that won't listen. And it's like, damn, Flock. All right.
Okay, well, that seems
That tracks. You're
you've-
buck
you've
wild now, so
made up your mind on how this is gonna go very soon.
yep. Lost card comes through, and we cut into a flash sideways. Saeed is sleeping on the couch at his long lost love's home, and his brother shakes him awake. He's like, "Hey, man, look. Here's the thing. Remember that phone call earlier when I was on the phone with absolutely not the dry cleaning business, and you were in the dining room flirting with my wife, and I saw that? That phone call was I took it a loan to open a second dry cleaning store, but instead of going to a bank, I went to a loan shark.
Because that is always the better choice.
I'm surprised he couldn't get a loan for a second store by using the first store's collateral.
Right.
Like, unless the first store is still being paid off or something like that.
But I don't know, but
I've never had to take out like a business loan or anything like that, but I feel like yeah, like, why'd you end up going to a loan shark, you big knob?
We in one of the other 2 episodes I was on, they pretend to take out a loan to go travel.
Yeah.
Like, we've established that in this universe you can take out money for basically anything. Like,
Yeah.
it seems so ridiculous for any of this to have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
100%. Kate almost got she was applying for a loan for like $90,000 to do a coffee table book on old theaters of the Southwest.
Right, yeah. Like,
I
and they were
forgot
like,
about
yeah, I mean, like, obviously we can do that.
Yeah.
Like, of course we can.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it would be stupid for us not to invest in this.
It's an interesting set of circumstances, to say the least. Saeed's like, it's all good, bro. I'm rich as hell. You need some money?
I got $9.
And Omar's like, no, I don't want that. Like, what's happened is I've paid the loan off, but they're still squeezing me. So if you could, squeeze them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he specifically, he really comes after regular Saeed here and is like, hey man, I know what you did. I know you were in the military. I know you're an interrogator. And importantly, regular Saeed does not want to do the things he did in the military to loan sharks. And he stands his ground and he says, I'm not
doing that.
That's not me anymore, man.
I'm a good guy. I'm a good man.
No one comes to me and they're like, hey, I know you're a photographer in the military. I need you to take care of some guys. They're always like, can you take pictures of my fucking kid's dance recital? This is bullshit. You got a cell phone? Take pictures of your own fucking kid's recital. Anyways, what were we talking about?
Cut to the island.
Oh,
Yeah, so we return to Hodder Saeed,
Yeah.
who's been banished from the realm of the dead by Anubis. And I actually interrupt my own notes here because I start by explaining that another gentleman, who I later find out is Miles,
Yeah.
reveals that. And then I've interrupted my own thought process because the hippie just walked out and declared, "Do not shoot her," which is, I don't know who this guy is.
Hey,
But he's very funny.
Jake, real quick, based on that guy's look, does he look like anyone from like real life in history? Like, if you had to guess what celebrity he would look like.
The hippie man?
Yeah.
Jeez, one of the Beatles maybe? Is it like John Lennon?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now guess what the character's name is.
It can't be John or Lennon, right? Like, it can't be one or... it can't be either or both, can it?
It's Lennon.
It certainly can be.
Oh. Well, the good news is I won't have to remember this for very long.
Yeah, Miles is one of the freighter people. He joined up with the survivors just after season 4, and palled around with them. Had some adventures in the 70s with time travel and all this stuff. And now he's at the temple, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Miles tells Saeed about him being dead. He's like, "You were dead for like 2 hours. Like, it wasn't like like you got CPR and came back. Like, you were out. You were done. Like, you were gone."
When you set up, they were also fucking freaked out.
Yeah, it's a good beat that unfortunately got interrupted by the hippie who walked out and yelled, "Do not shoot her."
Yeah. Yeah, because Claire enters and...
this place's security is so loosey-goosey. People just walk in, walk out.
They only need to stop one person, apparently.
Yeah.
Dogan comes out and he's like, "What's up?" And she's like, "Speak English." And they have a conversation. Basically boils down to Flock wants to talk. And Dogan's like, "Come outside. I got nothing going on." And she's like, "You fucking know he can't come in.
And I'm not going out there because he'll just fucking kill me.
Yeah. So Dogan's like, "Well, whatever. I don't care what he's up to. Throw her in the hole." And actually, Dip, Saeed, you haven't left yet. Actually, why don't you come before I enforce your banishment? I got some work for you to do.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
To which I would have been like, "Eat me. I'm leaving."
Yeah.
Like,
sorry, can't hear you. Bye.
yeah.
That's a real. Could you finish out your shift?
Yeah.
Dogan explains the concept of the Man in Black to Saeed. He's this evil incarnate. Him and Jacob are this opposing force, and now that Jacob's dead, Man in Black can kind of do whatever he wants to a point. So I want you to take this cool knife, go out there, bury it in his chest. Don't give him a chance to talk. If he does, it'll be too late.
I need a man of action, and I know you're about that action.
Yeah. You said there's still good in your soul. Then prove it. Murder somebody.
Right, yeah. Importantly, Hodder Saeed is also asked to do the things he did in the military, but this Saeed is less scrupulous. And is willing to prove there's enough good left in his soul to kill a man.
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
So
Dogan's taking this like, I'm the moral high ground here or something. It's like, I want you to kill somebody, and I've also tried to kill you 3 times, and I sucker punch you. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, they're fast friends, the two of them, Saeed and Dogan. It's just like, name a more iconic duo.
yeah, it's a real you can't live without me vibes for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Cut back to the Flash sideways. Saeed sends his little niece and nephew off to school on a school bus. It's an adorable little thing. They drive off, and then Nadia's like, "Oh, good, the kids are gone." Omar got his ass kicked.
He's been loan sharked, by the way.
And I need a ride.
Loan sharked him.
I need a ride to the hospital. What are you up to right now? They head over to the hospital. Yeah, Omar's been attacked. They think he's been mugged. He's got to go into surgery. He's got a punctured lung. He's got some other stuff, And Saeed's like, "Oh, look, he asked me to beat these guys' ass," and I was like, But then they beat his ass, and I'm like, "Let's go."
Yeah. Now, importantly, Nadia begs Saeed not to go do the things he did in the military to the loan sharks.
Yeah.
And I wrote that this Saeed is less scrupulous too, but that's also proven wrong eventually.
Yeah.
So.
But hey, I mean, if he doesn't pull through, like, Saeed can just slide right in there, right? He can just put on the wedding ring. She doesn't even need to change her last name again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jesus.
There's a wonderful bit about this later in the episode.
There's an interesting little surprise here in this scene. Did either of you catch it?
Oh, yeah, our T2J.
Yep, T2J, 13 minutes, 57 seconds. Dr. Jack Shepard walks by with no lines. He's reading a file. They are at St. Sebastian Hospital, the only hospital in greater Los Angeles area.
Yes.
T2J. 1357, his only appearance in the episode.
Every time we do a T2J, we owe Eric $1.
We owe him tens of dollars.
Yeah.
Oh no. He's never gonna let you guys gotta pay him, man.
Yeah.
He's gonna squeeze you guys tough, man.
Yeah. He's gonna beat the shit out of JP, and then I'm gonna have to beat the shit out of him.
They're gonna ask you to do the stuff you used to do in the military to him, man. You gotta be careful.
Take a picture of his balls.
I gotta update Eric's headshot for LinkedIn. Oh no.
Don't worry, Major Melons. We'll catch you on the flip. Cut to the jungle. Saeed bumps into Kate on the way out. Saeed disappears off into the jungle, and Kate heads back into the temple.
Yeah, and this was a breath of fresh air because I 100% remember who Kate is. Because Kate is
she was one of the bank robbers.
Singular. Yeah. Kate is the singular focus of my Lost on Lost journey. Yeah. Up to this point.
I'm so sorry.
No, you know what? I have not seen enough Lost to not think Kate is the coolest character in the show, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that.
You, then.
Yeah, she comes in and catches up with Miles. Miles like, oh, hey, what's going on? Sawyer chased you off. It's okay.
Yeah.
I thought that the same thing would have happened to me. That's why I didn't go in the first place. Says something, and then he's all broody, and then whatever. He's one of my best friends.
It's because it's Miles talking to Kate, right?
Yeah.
They're talking about Claire, and Kate's like, Claire's here? And Miles says, yeah, she just strolled in here a couple hours ago acting all weird. Still hot, though.
I wrote that exact line down also. That said, I agree with him. She is still hot, though.
Oh, and even hotter now that she's gone full jungle crazy.
Yeah. There's a nice sheen of
That does it for you guys. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, Kate responds to that revelation that she's here pretty surprisingly because that's the entire reason she came back to the island. So, here we go. She's getting close to her stated objective.
Yeah.
Glad somebody is.
Speaking of getting to an objective.
Yeah, Saeed stops for some water. We hear the accompanying sounds of the smoke monster.
The cicadas.
Leaves are sashaying in the wind. The rattling and the cranking and the whatever. And then Saeed's like, oh shit, am I about to get smoked? And then John Locke pops out of the trees.
Yes.
Saeed's like, I sure hope no smoke monsters find me out here.
Sure hope this supernatural wind does not precede John Locke.
And Locke's like, hey, what up, baby? And Saeed's about that action, so to plunge.
Yeah. Gets him right away.
You're fucking, like, I kind of didn't expect it, right? Like, Locke pops out and he's like, hello, Saeed. And it's just wham. Locke just kind of looks at the knife. They don't even show it in the shot. It's just like he looks down at his chest and pulls it out off camera.
He has such a look of the only way I can describe it is bored disgust.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, just why?
Yeah. And that's his. Now, why'd you go and do that?
Yeah.
Now, this is the point in the episode where I begin to believe that this may not be John Locke. The John Locke that I remember from the other two episodes of Lost I've seen.
No, because it's canonical. He's always had just a hole in his chest right there. The knife just happened to go right in it.
Yeah. Not only is he missing a kidney, he's also missing a lung and half of his heart.
Yeah.
See, you can't do this bit to me because this is as plausible to the plot of Lost as anything else I've seen. Yeah.
That's very fair.
This is actually less dumb than organizing a bank robbery to steal a childhood memento out of a safety deposit box. This is better than that.
It's equally supernatural, I would at least suggest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Flock tells Saeed that Dogan set him up. He's like, you can't. He's like, the knife thing wasn't gonna work from the jump. Even if I hadn't said anything, this isn't a magic knife. I'm a supernatural being, and this knife's not juiced to do anything to me. So Dogan sent you out here hoping you'd stab me. That would piss me off, and that I'd twist your head off.
But we're tight. We're old boys, man.
I would never do that to my dog, Saeed. Come on, Dogan. You don't know how me and him are. We rolling thick. But yeah, so Flock's like, why would you do anything for a guy who tried to kill you 3 times? I've never tried to kill you yet.
Not even once.
No, not even a one time. So why don't you do me a solid? Do me a solid. Do yourself a solid. Honestly, do the audience a solid. Go back in there. You help me.
Yeah.
You maybe return the favor. Maybe
he'll never see it coming. It'll be totally sick.
Yeah.
Right. Inexplicably, they will simply let you hang back out in the temple.
Yeah. Despite having been banished.
Right. Especially once you've come back as a doomsayer.
Yeah. Yes.
They will just not really think about it at all, as it turns out. So...
Cut to flash sideways. Nadia returns home to find Saeed gluing a vase together. He and the children had a small boomerang-related accident and destroyed a vase of hers.
I don't know why. I assumed that in my mind, I was like, oh, dude, like, this must be days later. They just have her in the same colored top. Like, I don't know why. In my head, it took me through halfway through the scene to realize this is just a few hours later.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, brother probably died in the hospital and now Saeed's daddy.
Yeah.
I want it to be true so bad, but like,
And this is just kind of like it's weird because, and like, again, JP, you forgot that this was a flash sideways. Jake, this is your first flash sideways really exposure here, but like, this is one of these like kind of old school lost character moments that used to exist in the flashbacks, in which you see a little slice of this person's life from whatever, and it's like, this is what led them to be who they are now. And this is just kind of like a what if.
Yeah.
So like, it's a character moment, but like, who gives a fuck?
yeah.
Because it's like, because she's like, why didn't you ever come after me? Why didn't you? You were always pushing me toward Omar. Like, obviously, you and I, we've got some. Like, there's obviously charisma here. Like, it's sizzling through the screen. Like, I'm hot, you're hot, we vibe. What's up? Like, why not? And he goes on. He's like, I tortured a bunch of people and I have a self-esteem issue. I don't feel like I deserve you. I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man, capital B, bad man. And so, like, you know, I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to deserve you, even though I already lost you. And yeah, it's like, again, if this was a flashback, I personally would be like a little bit more like, yeah, nice. I mean, it's a good scene in the sense that the two of them are acting well, and it's, you know, not like overwrought or anything like that. But like,
we've seen them lose each other and then get back together by this point. So to see them
in the flash forwards, we know she dies. Like,
right. So to see them like not
together,
to not be together but still be like near each other, I'm like, that's less interesting.
Yeah,
the true story is so much more interesting.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, we're sitting here, and I think just as an audience member, at least for myself, I'm sitting here watching this scene, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
So,
doesn't do a lot for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, lacking the context of any of the flash sideways it is an interesting, I mean, like, yeah, to your point, if I don't have to, like, use my brain to try and construct the Zelda timeline of how Lost works...
Yeah.
It is good character work.
Yeah.
Like, it is really interesting character work. Like, revealing that, like, hey, I was in love with you and I'm in love with you and that's why I encouraged you to marry my brother so you would always be in our family is, like, kind of foul work.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Kind of an insane emotional beat. Like, even though, like, it's offset by the fact that, like, he has done all of this because he finds himself irredeemable, like, in her eyes, which is obviously not true.
Right.
But, like,
right, exactly. Right.
And like, that is a cool story beat. And I like that it fully not mirrors, but I like that it is it is happening side by side with a Saeed that is basically doing everything the opposite, right? And so that I do think it's kind of cool as someone who has not watched more than 3 episodes of Lost. But like, if I have to start thinking about alternate timelines and side dimensions and the past and how this is not the past or the future, then I could understand that, like, what are we doing here in season 6 of the show Lost?
And I like what you said there too about, like, the what's happening in the present being totally opposite to what's going on. It's like we're seeing in the present on the island a Saeed who doesn't care about being irredeemable.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that,
like,
I think that's cool. Yeah. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
It really is the difference. Like, 2 people are asking the same guy to, like, go back to a lifestyle he has tried to leave behind. And one of them is, and they're both, like, firmly making opposite decisions, right? Like one of them is like, yeah, okay, I'll go do that thing. Yeah, okay, I'll go do the thing you asked me to do instead. Like, yeah okay. So it is cool. It's a cool or it's interesting if you were like me and you're allowed to not know that the rest of Lost exists.
Right. Yeah.
There's a line here where Saeed offers to Nadia, like, I've got money, I'll pay for this, and she's like, no, he has to get beaten up to learn his lesson.
He's learned his lesson.
Like, he has to get loan sharked, or else like he's never gonna learn from this. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he wakes up from surgery and it's like, okay, Omar, now what did we learn? Don't go to a loan shark if I want to open another dry cleaner. Very good. All right, we're gonna stop at Yogurtland on the way home.
Hey!
Fucking love Yogurtland. Well, it's all you can eat now that your mouth is wired
now that your
shut.
jaws are wired shut. Come back to the temple. Saeed delivered. He just pops in, just walks to the door. He's like, "Hey guys, here's the thing. He's out there, and he's like, you got a choice. Jacob's dead, so vacate the temple, and it's all good. Anybody who stays and is still here at sundown, you're done."
Oh, he said the thing.
Yeah, that's what I did too. I wrote it. I wrote it in the notes. They said the line.
Yay.
So yeah, leave the temple or die. You got until sundown to make your choice. It's mid-afternoon. Is this where we see Cindy and the kids for the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cindy and the kids are still here. Hell yeah.
Dude, I am always shocked and delighted when I see Cindy and the kids.
Yeah. Just like, hey guys, don't forget, Zach and Emma, those two kids that got kidnapped, they're fine.
Yeah, we're never going to learn anything about them. They get no fucking resolve. They're just here, though.
They're just here. And they're probably going to, I guess, live on the island for the rest of their lives.
Their short little lives.
Look, guys, there's only 6 seasons of Lost. Like, you can't fit it all in.
You can't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kate asks Lennon to see Claire. Take me to Claire. And he's like, she's a prisoner. She doesn't have privileges to have visitors. And she's like, fuck that. I'll beat the snot out of you, you Weasley little fuck.
Beat the brakes off you.
Yeah, she pushes him up against the wall hottie style.
Yep.
For sure.
And he's like, all right, well, since you asked nicely. Takes her over to the hole. They're keeping her in a hole.
It's
a temple, I guess.
Fucking the Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. And she's down there. She's singing the lullaby to herself. The same lullaby that she sang to Aaron. The same lullaby that she told the adoptive couple to sing to him before she had given birth. It's that same lullaby. It's creepy.
Yeah. It's not good.
It is creepy, yeah.
And I was enthralled. But yeah, Kate's like, hey, Claire, it's so good to see you. What's up? Why are you all down here and pissed off? And she's like, they stole my baby. And she's like, they didn't steal your baby. I stole your baby.
She's like, fucking excuse me. And this is after like Jin had said, like, didn't he say that like Kate had her baby? He's like, no, I was joking or something like that.
Yeah.
Then she got over it like, oh, okay. Don't you ever
I said that just so you would like pay
not
attention.
kill
That's
that
not
guy.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the others absolutely have your baby. Yeah. And so yeah, she's like, I have your baby. And Claire's like, bitch, what? She's like, yeah, I raised him. And then after 3 years went by, I decided that maybe it was actually better if you raised him because toddlers cramp my style. Yeah. So I came back here to save you and give you your baby back.
Claire's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
The actress does a very good job of going from like very excited to hear that the baby's around to like
very excited to kill Kate.
Yeah. I mean, it's very much like, you know, the state that Claire's in, there's no world where she thinks that this was a noble deed that was done.
Right.
Whether you think it was a noble deed that was done or not. And she does a very good job with her facial expressions of going from like, my kid's alive to like, my kid is extra stolen now, actually.
Yeah. It's actually worse because now I realize Aaron's not on the island at all and I can't see him.
Oh, okay, so this is the part of my watching season 6, episode 6 of Lost, titled Sundown, where I have forgotten every meme I've ever learned about Lost, and I have to pause the episode and have a moment where I am like, people have left the island? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? People left the island.
Yeah.
They came back
a bunch of times.
Yeah, handful of them got off at the end of season 4. A couple people
What
left
are we
during season
doing?
5, and then they came back. Yeah, there was a second plane, didn't crash. Frank landed it. Like,
I took this opportunity to get up and get a drink and refill my water and really think about the plot of the television series Lost.
Yeah.
Outside in the courtyard, everybody's like, oh, hey, if we have a choice to leave or get smoked, we're going to leave. And so, like, most of the others are going to bow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So then Lennon's like, hey, man, fucking everybody's running around freaking out because you told them what was going to happen. He's
You
like,
started to panic.
yeah. It's like, fucking, I told you Jacob's dead and dude's coming in here to kill you. So what will save you is to go outside.
Yeah.
So those are.
I don't know why you're panicking. You've got hours to orderly form an orderly queue and exit the temple at your leisure.
You could simply leave the temple, right?
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. And Cindy's like, yeah, I'm taking the kids and I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, are you nuts? I have children.
Look, if he's right, then we can go.
And if he's wrong, we'll come back.
We'll come back.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miles, I think Miles is like, hey, Saeed, let's get out of here. And he's like, I have one quick errand to run.
I got to put this knife back.
I have to return this knife.
Yeah, he does.
Cut to flash sideways. Saeed's just still at Nadia's house, and I think he's going to go do, I don't know what he's up to, but he goes out to he's going to pick up the kids. And some dudes roll up in an SUV, and they're like, hey, we'll give you a ride. We could go pick up the kids together. It's obviously that they're bad dudes, like whatever. And Saeed's like, oh, you coming to pick me up? That'll save me the trouble of finding you.
Yeah, damn. Everything's coming up Saeed right now.
So they take him over to a restaurant. And they bring him in. It's like tense, but it's like they're not like being overly menacing, save for the fact that like, hey, come with us, or it's they're not physically threatening. They're just like it's whatever.
It's giving me Sopranos vibes.
Yeah, it's very very gangster.
Making an egg.
Yeah, gets in there and there's a dude just like, you want an egg? I'll make you an egg. We got a poacher, whatever. It's Kimi.
Oh, Kevin Durant.
Martin Kimi.
So as you know, I've been doing my gimmick where every time a person's name is mentioned, I write their name in bold and tell you what I remember about them. So, Martin Kimi. That's what I wrote for that section. So,
yeah, that makes sense. Martin Kimi showed up in season 4. He is one of the freighter people as well. This would be your first exposure to him. You have not been exposed to the Kimi that has existed on the island. You've only seen Flash Sideways Kimi.
I see.
He seems to be some sort of mid-level loan shark dude, whatever.
Some suit doing his best Christopher Walken impression for sure.
So he threatened Saeed. He's like, hey, here's the thing. Your brother still owes me money. And so, pay me the money. Or we're gonna do some, or he never cops to it. He's just like, oh man, I heard about Saeed's brother. He got mugged right outside of his own store, man. Crime in LA is off the charts. So yeah, he just like, he threatens Saeed, and Saeed's like, oh, dude, you really don't know who I am. And he's like, yeah, dude,
done fucked up.
You're from Iraq. And he's like, yeah. That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, like, unfortunately, sometimes a loan shark will force you to do the things that you used to do in the military. Like, this is just how life works sometimes.
He snatches a gun off of the one guy and uses that guy as the human shield. That guy gets popped. He shoots the other guy.
It's very cool.
And all of a sudden, it's just Saeed and Kimi.
It's just muscle memory for him too. It's so effortless, and so like graceful. I'm just like, God damn, Saeed, you're good at this.
There's no adrenaline. Like, he's not sweating it. Like, it's just done. You know? Like, there's only a little bit of like second thought when he's like, oh, I have to kill this guy.
And Kimi, he realizes he's got the drop on him. He's just like, you know what? Sorry. All right. Fucking my life's more important than money. Consider it forgiven. Forgiven debt. Let's just leave it. Yeah. And Saeed's like, no. And shoots him.
I can't.
Blows him away.
And so then Saeed, I gotta assume, is thinking about escaping. But then he hears like a noise around the corner. And he heads over to the walk-in. And he opens it. And Jin is there.
My handsome Korean friend Jin is there. I was popping off. I don't know why any of this is happening, of course.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Yep.
Let's go.
So he opens the door, and I say, "Oh, my sweet boy Jin." And Saeed says something like, "Hey,
who
why
are
you
you
in here?"
Yeah.
And then Jin says something in Korean, and then no
No
English.
English.
And that's when I went, "Oh, this is a flash sideways."
Oh, yeah, okay.
We were 30 minutes into the episode, and I was like, oh, shit. Because up to this point, I was like, wait, does Kimi have like a bulletproof vest on? Is that how he survives later and like gets back to the island?
If you're not paying attention to the fact that it's a flash sideways, it's totally plausible that this could be a flash forward. Exactly.
Well, it also looks like when he shoots him that it doesn't, like it also, when he shoots him, it also looks like, I thought he was wearing a
vest.
bulletproof vest for a second.
Like
because of the way he reacts to getting shot. Yeah.
Nah, he's dead.
Yeah. Super dead.
Cut at the temple. Saeed asks Dogen why he didn't kill him.
And then we get a 4-minute verbal story with no visual component.
Right, yeah. Anubis breaks my immersion by explaining that he used to work at an office in Japan.
Yeah.
Which has really taken me out of the hidden temple in that way.
Yeah. He caused the death of his own son by drunk driving. And while his son was dying in the hospital or whatever, Jacob appeared and said, "Hey, I will save your son's life. The cost is you'll never be able to see him again. You have to go get a job on the island working for me." And Dogen determined that it was worth it and did that. And that's how he got here. And that's what's up.
And that's why, when my dad was too drunk to drive, he just had me drive as a child. So it's way more responsible.
Yeah. So it's like, cool story. I kind of don't give a fuck. And he drags him into the deep fryer and drowns the shit out of him.
And the entire scene, I think was sick. I actually think it was very cool.
So good.
Yeah.
Like Jacob drives a hard bargain. The man outside, I take it he offered you a similar bargain. Yes. And then like, it is sundown. Will you choose to stay or go? He says, I'd like to stay.
I'm gonna stay.
And then I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and Dogen's like, oh, damn, son, maybe you're all right. And then he fucking drags him into the deep fryer.
Dude, he has already subverted my expectation by, he says, I'm going to return this knife. It's like, okay, he's going to go stab him. And then the first thing he does is drop the knife on the ground. So like when he like becomes violent, I was legitimately like, whoa, okay.
Even more surprising, after Dogen dies, he lets go of the baseball and it floats. I didn't know baseballs float. So anyways, Lennon comes in, is like, hey, why is that baseball floating? And then he's like, fucking, let me show you.
So my notes are as follows. This hippie middle manager is having the worst day, man. Sorry, I spoke too soon.
It couldn't get any worse.
Yeah, Saeed cuts his throat.
He was ruthless, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, it's like, this is just what he does. Mm-hmm. Like, it is the actions his body has performed 100 times, and what does it matter if he does it 101st time? Like,
And that's it. The seal is broken, and sundown arrives, and the man in black enters the temple.
Yeah.
As the smoke monster. It just starts fucking up background temple folk.
Everything.
yeah.
It's not this sort of overwhelming, like, all-at-once attack that I thought it was based on what we'd heard about in the past. He's only so big, and there's a lot of space and people to cover, so it's going to take him some time to do this. So Kate and Miles have time to be like, oh, fuck, let's get out of here.
Right. It's not like the smoke is sentient in the fact that it's like formless and could just look anywhere at once. It's kind of like there's a guy in there driving it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna fuck up you, and then you,
Right.
and then you. It's very like order of operations.
Yeah. So Kate and Miles are trying to bail, but then Kate's like, I got to go back for Claire. I'm not leaving without Claire. And Miles is like, see ya
Later.
Miles finds a place to hide. He hides in this room. Somebody starts pounding on the door. And then, boom! Local hero, Alana, busts through the door. Fucking, I was surprised to see this person.
Yeah. Holy shit. I forgot that they were palling around or what they were doing.
Yeah. Right behind Alana, Frank, Ben, and Sun. The Ajira survivors that did not go back to the 70s.
Yeah.
Jake, you have a question?
A question from
yeah,
Jake
but
Jacobs.
I don't think it's gonna be helpful.
It won't be. Do you want to ask anyways?
Many characters whose names I don't know have been introduced. I can't possibly know them. Is what's my note on this? Except for Sun. I know who Sun is. I remember Sun, wife of Jin.
Yep.
And this is I'm reminded here that we are in season 6, the final season of Lost, because she simply just speaks English. And I was like, oh yeah, she was faking it, but certainly this far into being on the island, she would no longer benefit from not speaking English.
It's been so long that Jin just learned English.
Yeah. Kate makes her way back to the hole, and she's trying to get Claire to come out, and Claire's like, actually, you probably be safer down here. And
I'm good.
Right about as Kate is about to get smacked by the smoke monster, she like jumps in and hangs off the ladder. The smoke like lights up the room, whatever. Cut over into the deep fryer room. Saeed's just kind of chilling there, and Ben comes in, and he's like, Saeed, I'm here to rescue you.
Hey, fam.
I know a way out of here. There's still time. To which Saeed turns to him and smiles and says, not for me.
It's a very evil fucking smile, man.
Dude.
Dark Saeed, baby.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, Ben has, I believe, been the only character in this show that has wisely reacted to Saeed.
Yeah. And he's like,
in this one moment.
I'm in danger.
Which is that he bails.
All right, yep, no, fair enough. See you later, or hopefully never.
Yeah, understandable. Have a nice day. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as they're trying to, we cut back to Miles and Alana's group, and Miles is like, hey, he says to Son, hey, have you seen Jin? And she's like,
where's your husband?
She's like, Jin's alive? He's like, yeah, I hang out with him all the time.
Just here a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Like,
that's my boy.
She hasn't seen him in like 3 years.
Yeah.
And again, the reason she came back to the island was to find her husband. And she's getting very, very close. Miles has apparently seen him like earlier today.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
So, Alana's group, they find Hurley's secret door and use Hurley's secret door to escape from the smoke monster, and they get away. And
that was Hurley's secret door?
That was Hurley's secret door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope he's
he
okay.
didn't make it. He had used it in an earlier
Jacob
episode.
told them that there's a secret door. But we haven't seen anyone else use it, so it's Hurley's.
Yeah. And the temple massacre ends. We got this sort of slow motion mini montage.
Yeah. I didn't like it at first, and then I really liked it.
It was
I don't know.
It was the lullaby again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was a cool touch.
Yeah. Saeed slowly walks out of the temple and sees the others that left the temple that vacated, Cindy and the kids and the rest of the background. Claire walks out. Locke observes them, smiles. And then Kate walks out behind Claire, and Locke is like, what the fuck?
This fucking shoe beast.
And they all group up and start walking off into the jungle.
And Kate's just like, I guess I'm coming with y'all now. But it's really freaky music. Like it's very unsettling.
Super unsettling.
It's a cool, considering the last 2 episodes I think I watched with you guys had like fairly happy endings. It was pretty fun to have like a sort of ominous.
Yeah.
And
that's it. That's Sundown.
Holy shit.
Woo!
Yeah, this was a hell of an episode.
Yeah. Did we like it? Was it good? That's the first thing we're going to talk about here in the post show. You can like something that sucks. You can hate something that rules. Jake, why don't you kick it off? Sundown. Did you like it? Was it good?
Yeah, so I think it makes sense contextually because we're in the final season of a TV show. And I've not witnessed 5 other seasons of Lost, but I found it very hard to take anything that happened in this episode seriously.
Okay.
The other 2 episodes that I watched with y'all, which were both, I mean, Exodus Part Fun was obviously in the first season. I don't remember when
whatever the case may
Yeah,
was
is that season
that was also a
2?
season 1 episode.
Okay, yeah.
Oh man.
I remember feeling like both of those were much better, almost as self-contained episodes. Like I remember talking to you guys specifically in Exodus Part Fun about how like I had to be reminded that was a 3-part episode because it just felt like that could have been like the end of the show Lost. Like if you had told me that was the last episode of Lost, I'd have been like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Neat.
So like this episode doesn't have that like same vibe, but it was also a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect there to be so much fight choreography, and I didn't expect it to all be like good fight choreography.
Yeah,
sure.
Hotter Saeed kind of whipped ass, and that was like a fun like series of things to watch. So like I had a good time.
All right.
I think is how I feel about episode 6, season 6, Sundown.
JP, what do you say?
I really like this one. It was a lot of fun. I love Saeed. I love a good Saeed episode. The couple of little things, Alana and that group showing up at the end, I think was my least favorite part. But pretty much everything else I enjoyed. Even parts that I didn't enjoy upon watching on my own, I think I appreciate more now thanks to our conversation.
Okay.
So, yeah, overall, really dig this episode.
Cool.
Adam.
Yeah, this episode kind of beats ass.
Yeah.
Like... It started out a little slow. Like I thought I was in for like an episode full of just like sitting around the temple and talking, but then the fight happened and I was like, oh shit, okay, cool, and then it like ramped up, and then I thought that like the last once Saeed returned to the temple and delivered the warning, like in the last few minutes of the episode, like I thought it ended really strong, and so I was fully entertained basically throughout, and so save for a couple of little kind of quiet sticky points, like the Dogen monologue was just a little too long, but like that wasn't enough to drag it down. I had a really good time, especially I thought the ending of the episode was really phenomenal.
100% agree.
Well, here in what seems to be a pretty good episode of Lost, somebody's got to be up on top. Lost MVP, who's ruling the roost? Just the number one, top performer, elite status, S tier character, concept, joke, whatever. Lost MVP. Jake, kick it off.
Yeah, so I've really been hyping up who I have lovingly nicknamed Hotter Saeed for pretty much this whole episode. So you might be shocked to learn that I'm actually going to give my MVP award to regular Saeed.
Oh, wow, an upset.
Buddy only went John Wick mode because the loan sharks picked him up and brought him to like their lair. Mm-hmm. Like he was staying strong. He was just trying to do right by his family and by his brother.
Yeah.
Also, he found my other favorite guy, Jin. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's huge for me. So
they delivered themselves on a silver platter.
They really did. Yeah.
He'll be back before the kids get home from school.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't get thrown in the clink, which absolutely happens.
Oh, no.
What? No!
Shit. It'll be fine. JP, who's your Lost MVP?
I don't even have a joke. It's Saeed.
Saeed, yeah.
I got nothing, man. Just love it.
Yeah.
Love everything about it. Did not piss me off, not even once. Adam.
Yeah, he's just too good throughout, from the beginning to the end. Saeed, like, we used to run into this problem with Hurley episodes. Whenever we would have a Hurley-centric episode, it was hard to think of anybody who was better than Hurley. And you've got the same sort of problem with the Saeed episode. Like, nobody's better than Saeed in a Saeed episode. Like, yeah. So, yeah.
And I appreciate so much more of, like, the dark Saeed stuff, because before we're like, why is Saeed pouting all the time?
Yeah.
Now I fucking get it.
Yeah,
like,
now you get it. Yeah, now, and the explanation's not stupid.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, man, speaking of stupid.
Yeah.
The other side of this bit, Lost Forever, King Suck of Shit Mountain, who's out here fucking up, just hacking their way through the episode, making it worse by their presence. Kick it off, Jake. Lost Forever.
I mean, come on. You got to give it to Mr. Hippie Middle Manager, man.
Yeah.
No sauce, no swag.
Yeah.
No wins. Like, get this guy out of my show. I'm sick of him.
He does suck.
Yeah, he's pretty lame. Yeah, he's the translator for a guy who can speak English.
Yeah. And everyone knows it.
So lame. JP.
Ah, man, Dogan. Fucking, that guy's motivations are all over the place. And when Saeed killed him, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome. This guy pissed me off from the second we first met him to the last second he was in the fucking big deep fryer. Like, I hated that guy.
Yeah,
Good
that's fair.
riddance.
That's fair, yeah.
Adam.
Whew. It's got to be Kate. In what world did she think that telling Claire that she raised Aaron for her was going to go over well?
Yeah.
Like,
especially like you have 1 minute to talk to her when she's in a hole.
yeah. Just this very silly way to reacquaint yourself with your old friend who you have not seen in 3 years. And again, the reason that Kate ended up with Aaron was Claire did disappear into the jungle during some of this tense stuff that was happening in season 4. Sawyer had the good sense to save Aaron because Claire had gone missing, and then Kate ended up with Aaron because Sawyer passed him off. So it's not like she stole the baby. No. That said, there's got to be a better way to approach this.
Right.
I raised it. Don't say raise. Say I held on to him. I don't know. I kept him warm for you. I don't know. There's a better way to describe this to the mother who's you know the one thing that Kate knows about Claire is that she deeply, deeply cares for Aaron. And she went out of her way to make sure that Aaron wasn't raised by another TM. That's the name of an episode of Lost. It comes up a bunch. Raised by another. And then to say raised by another. Bad news.
Yeah.
Look, Kate's not a closer. I can't deny that.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how to close. Yeah. There's no way. She barely knows how to open.
She does plenty of opening.
Jesus.
We have one more little thing we gotta do here.
I forgot.
I wondered if you forgot about the webisode.
I reminded JP yesterday, and then I forgot that we had to talk about it right now.
It's not good.
You forgot about Lost's classic set of webisodes called Missing Pieces, which made me laugh so much.
It is not a webisode, Jake. It is a mobisode.
I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize. Hey, listeners out there. This is Jake Jacobson talking.
Canceled.
I let you guys down. We're editing this in post, actually. I won't say this live on the show, but I went ahead and sent my apology over because I felt so bad about the way I acted. I was really disrespectful to the concept of the mobisode. I was very dismissive of the mobisode, and I've gotten your feedback
on the
mob, and I am deeply, deeply sorry.
I am so glad that this is our second to last one, and that we only have one of these left.
The deal.
Missing Piece 4. It originally aired on November 26, 2007 on Verizon.com or ABC.com and Verizon cellular devices. And the Mob.
Okay.
It's a Mobisode. It was written by Elizabeth Sarnoff. It was directed by Jack Bender. And our centric characters are Michael and Juliet.
Imagine you just had a Verizon phone, you never watched Lost, and you're just getting push notifications, and this shit is on your phone. You're like, what is happening?
What is happening?
Is this more or less unhinged than the YouTube album that everybody who has an iPhone owns?
I think this is more irritating than the YouTube album. The YouTube album.
It's a toss-up for me, but I'm willing to see the other side on this, you know?
Like some of our other missing pieces, this feels very much just like a deleted scene from an episode.
It absolutely is. It has to be. It actually, I don't know. I mean, do we want to get into it or just kind of?
I mean, it starts off with Michael tied up inside one of these fake yurt things that the others were occupying as part of their ruse to seem like sort of a backwards, sort of low technology original inhabitants of the island. Michael's tied up here. He got apprehended while searching for Walt, while Walt had been kidnapped due to his ongoing puberty.
Happens to the best of us.
And and Juliet comes in. Juliet, yeah, exactly. The only bright spot of this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and she comes in and she delivers some sort of redundant exposition if you've watched the show.
Right. Yeah.
Great
I could
news.
see why this scene was ultimately cut. Like, yeah, we're going to get to the boat. You're going to
go in there, grab these people, bring them back here. We will give you the boat and your son.
Yeah.
So I'm proud to say that I'm 2 for 2 on my gimmick for this one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Go for it.
I remember both Michael and Juliet.
Which is more than we can say for the writers, but okay.
Michael, of course, lets his son Walt watch the Cop Power Rangers at 5 a.m. in the morning. And I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
And Juliet is the female protagonist in William Shakespeare's romantic tragedy Romeo and Juliet, a 13-year-old girl. Juliet is the only daughter of the patriarch of the House of Capulet. She falls in love with the male protagonist Romeo, a member of the House of Montague, with which the Capulets have a blood feud. The story has a long history that precedes Shakespeare himself. So, like, huge mobisode for Jake.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I'm going to say.
Well done.
So.
Nicely done. Nailed it.
Very good.
Any additional thoughts?
The only thing I wanted to add, because this is kind of a nothing burger of a little mobisode, is that Michael right at the end, because Juliet's explaining that she's also here sort of against her will. She made a deal with Ben to save her sister's life. La 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 la. We've seen all that. But he says something about like, why would you save someone that like you don't get?
Yeah, you're never gonna get to see again.
Yeah, you never get to see again. What a dumb fucking question to ask for someone
what an
that's a
idiotic
father.
Question. Yeah.
Whereas a much better line of dialogue would be, was it worth it? That's all. Like that. That's the question.
Yeah.
Like, was selling yourself to Ben to save someone worth it? She'd be like, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting that we watched this with Sundown because Dogen had to make the same choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I did have one note, turns out,
Yeah.
which is just that most of my experience with the TV show Lost has been characters telling each other that they are, in fact, not each other's enemies.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And so I gotta kind of respect Saeed because at least Saeed has enemies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Nice. All right. Well, there it is. 2 for 1, baby. Sundown in the deal. It's pretty good stuff here on Lost on Lost. Jake, thank you so much for making the time and coming on back to the show. So happy to have you.
it is legitimately been looking forward to a third episode since the second episode. So it's truly an honor to be here with you too. So
I need you to know, Jake, the amount of times just in my own head I say the words Super Island Mega Pope to just myself several times a week. It's a brainworm that I don't want to get rid of, frankly.
I miss him every day, man.
Jake, anything you want to plug?
I have a website, which might actually be new from the last time. You can see me blog once every 8 months about video games, and you can also see kind of basically everything else media-wise I've ever done if you go to jacobson.news.
Nice.
That is JACOBSON.NEWS. That sounds like a funny bit that I like to do, but it is the actual factual URL that I own and pay for every year.
Nice.
I'm going to be writing about Game of the Year stuff.
Awesome.
Excellent.
That's awesome. I love Game of the Year stuff.
Love
Game of the Year video game stuff. It's a conversation that I want to be a part of, so I will be checking that out.
Absolutely. Also, really quick before we go, want to address a nice little piece of fan mail that we got.
Oh, yeah.
We got a nice little message from Elizabeth Kane in Colorado saying that she enjoys the show, looks forward to it every other week. Also did some searching of us and spelled your name wrong and then found
That's fair.
someone who is a criminal.
Yeah.
But luckily it's not you. She's like, hey, just want to make sure that this ain't you. But
it is not.
luckily she spelled your last name wrong.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth, no worries. Unrelated financial crimes. Now that's a different story.
Yeah.
But
But it is a good tip to maybe we should look into our SEO and maybe increase some of our SEO. I believe that stands for search engine optimization.
yeah, 4 years into this, with a year left, we really gotta lock in on this shit.
Should have been locked in the whole time, I guess. But
Well, that's what my boss says too. But I don't really lock in until about 3 p.m. every day. So
yeah, and you can pry this ball cam off of my cold dead balls.
Hey! Leave the timestamp now! You can win a PS6! Let's go!
JP, what are we doing next time?
I don't care. It's not going to be as good as this. Oh, man. If you were looking to be lost with us, next time we're going to be watching Season 5, Episode 12, Dead is Dead, starring Ben.
Woo!
We're having Jack Kelly and Brett Charles back. Is it a double-length episode? No. They just strong-armed us into doing another episode together, and so we said, okay.
They refused to return individually.
I mean, they're a fantastic duo, and I am chomping at the bit to record that one because they're both fucking insane.
Yes.
I mean, that's just good. That's just good contract work, fellas. Like,
right. I love them both dearly, so look forward to that.
Excellent. Excellent.
So, Jake, thank you again for joining us. Audience, thank you for always tuning in. And Adam, thank you as always. Everybody out there, this has been another episode of Lost on Lost.
I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
Do you have any idea what's going on the show?
No.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.